Welcome back to the semi-regular show. I'm Tag Yorit Romney, and this is Belarusian president and stain on the Moustache community, Alexander Lukashenko. Now, Lukashenko has come to occupy a fair bit of international attention in recent years, starting in 2020 with his landslide victory in the Belarusian presidential election, winning 80% of the vote. Now, granted, 80% is a lot. Surely there must have been some kind of miscount or something. Well, here's some exclusive footage of the ballot counting process obtained by the semi-regular show. Draw your own conclusions. Clearly, the ballots were handled with the utmost care. Now, in all seriousness, you'll be happy to know that at COP26, Belarus promised to reduce ballot burning emissions by 30% and to invest in more sustainable ballot disposal measures over Lukashenko's next 5 terms. Now, we also realize that this is fairly old news. 2020, who even remembers that year? Instead, let's see what Lukashenko has done so far with his 6th term in office.
There's developing news tonight in Europe. Belarus used one of its fighter jets to intercept an Irish passenger plane and force it to land. State security officials arrested one of the passengers, an opposition activist.
State media in Belarus said the plane was forced to land because of a bomb scare.
He's forcibly bringing down commercial flights to detain dissidents. Well, at least this could explain Belavia Airlines' newest offering, flights for political dissidents that, for a nominal fee, land in the country the dissident is trying to escape from. Cuts out the whole bomb threat middleman. It's pretty great for the consumer. Of course, this instance of state-sponsored hijacking is, frankly, terrifying. For 2 reasons. The first, the sheer audacity of the hijacking. Roman Protasevich was on a commercial flight through Belarusian airspace to get to Lithuania. In fact, when the pilot was forced to bring down the plane, they were closer to Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania and the original destination of the flight, than Minsk, the capital of Belarus and the location where the plane was landed. Now, the second reason why this incident is so profoundly disturbing is because, in spite of the severe economic sanctions the EU, Slovakia, and Lithuania imposed on Belarus in response to this hijacking, Lukashenko is not only unfazed. Now, this is despite the obstacles these sanctions pose to ending Belarus's economic dependence on Russia, but he decided to step up his dictator game with this.
It is an abuse of some of the world's most vulnerable people, migrants turned into weapons in a political battle.
Thousands of migrants from the Middle East and some from Afghanistan have made their way from Belarus to the Polish border and are now trapped there. Belarus's president, who has the support of Russia's Vladimir Putin, is accused of orchestrating the crisis by flying migrants in and pushing them towards the EU.
Yep. Belarus is now using migrants to instigate an immigration crisis in the EU. And it appears to be working. Hundreds have reportedly been flown in from the Middle East and encouraged to make the long, dangerous trek to neighboring nations like Poland and Lithuania. Now, not only are they being transported to the border furthermore, but they are apparently being armed by Belarusian forces, which have led to numerous violent clashes at the border. Now, Poland has already been criticized for its immigration response, but it is worth remembering that this particular crisis, it's not new. Dictators have been threatening the EU with an influxes of migrants from developing and/or war-torn nations since Colonel Gaddafi threatened an influx of starving and ignorant Africans in 2010. And just like a slipper in an Asian household, the threat never loses its efficacy, primarily because of the EU's shift towards an anti-immigration stance over the past decade. Now, as for journalist Charlotte McDonald Gibson in an op-ed for the New York Times, the EU has become dependent on the goodwill of autocratic regimes for the maintenance of its borders. Now, the implications of that idea are profoundly disturbing, as were the severe crackdowns on activist groups in the country after they protested en masse the 2020 Belarusian presidential election. Now, one of these organizations was Vyazna, a group founded to provide aid to political prisoners and their families. Now, although key members of these organizations are now political prisoners themselves. There are still a few things you can do to help them out at home. Looking to justify your Instagram use while studying, for instance? Well, take a picture with one of the posters you can find at the bit.ly link below, and make sure to use the hashtag #FreeVyazna. Now, there should also be a link to the International Foundation for Moustache Rights, dedicated to undoing the damage done to the moustache's reputation by some of the more abhorrent strains of humanity. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. And in all seriousness, here is a link to the donation page for the International Federation of Human Rights, a nonprofit supporting political prisoners and other victims of human rights abuses under the current politically repressive regime of Belarus. You know, this is a very, very severe human rights crisis because we have a dictatorship that thus far has not faced any severe consequences for so audaciously trampling upon the rights of its citizenry. Thank you for watching.